Good morning, friends, both in the sanctuary on Zoom and later on our YouTube channel. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Franklin, to the mountains of Western North Carolina and Northeast Georgia and the ancestral land of the Cherokee. We're a lay-led congregation of progressive minds and caring connections. All are welcome as we worship that which gives us meaning and value. No matter what name you give this hour or this gathering of people, we worship as one body in love, illuminated by the light of the chalice. My name is Mary Teslow, and I'm pleased to be your service leader this morning. Our Sunday service team, Sanctuary Tech Support, Warren Riley, Bruce Brandsma, and Ian Carson, Zoom stage manager and music coordinator, Jude Lowry, assisted by Jill Erlern, our greeters, Tom and Sue Ann Riesdorf, and hospitality, Brenda Marsh. Our church-related announcements: as we gather in community, we take a moment to greet each other on Zoom and in the sanctuary so we can wave to each other. Yay, we're all together. How wonderful. We have a UU World article read this afternoon after coffee hour, and I think Robbie has another announcement for us this morning.
So I have a copy of the UU World article if you haven't had an opportunity to read it yet and would like to join our group. be happy to lend it to you we probably won't start till a half hour after we go downstairs. The second thing that I wanted to tell you, and I'm very excited, is that I spoke to the board, and the board has decided to welcome the listening room as a UUFF activity. So if anyone would like to be involved and help with the listening room, I need volunteers, and we can make a committee and move on forward with that. Thank you.
We're also looking forward to the ladies' lunch on Zoom on Tuesday. You contact Laura Lovelace. If you're here today, you can speak to her directly or certainly be in touch with her otherwise for a lunch and conversation time on Tuesday. Are there any other announcements in the sanctuary? Brenda?
Hi, everybody. So many of you know I have recently taken a new job that will consume many of my weekends and will need to be taking a step back from hospitality. So if anybody's interested in helping out as hospitality co-chair or hospitality chair, please feel free to reach out. And I think that Don is going to kind of help smooth the waters through a little bit. He's been helping out a lot since I took this job. But yeah, we need hospitality.
Can we say where it is? At our beloved mountain. Yay, how wonderful. Ms. Jude, are there any announcements on Zoom?
Let's look around the Zoom world and see if anyone would like attention. Let me get you on gallery. I don't see anyone looking for attention to say anything, so.
Thank you. Our fellowship is a light for liberal religion in the mountains that values diversity and the richness it brings to our community. Our celebration of diversity is reflected in the variety of our Sunday services. We hope today's service enriches your journey. Today we welcome our own Lara Jackson sharing stories about love. Our chalice lighting is by Reverend Maureen Kaloran. Love is the aspiration, the spirit that moves and inspires this faith we share. Rightly understood, love can nurture our spirits and transform the world. May the flame of this chalice honor and embody the power and the blessing of the love we need, the love we give, and the love we are challenged always to remember and to share. Our opening words are from Jennifer Kitchen. They are inspired by a poem by Rumi. Come sit by our fire and let us share stories. Let us hear our tales of far-off lands, wanderer, and I will tell you of my travels. Share your experience of the holy with me, worshiper, and I will tell you of that which I find divine. Come and stay, lover of leaving, for ours is no caravan of despair, but of hope. We should hear your stories of grief and sorrow as readily as those of joy and laughter. For there is a time and a place and a hearing for all the stories of this world. Stories are the breath and word of the Spirit of life, that power that we name love. Come, for our fire is warm and we have seats for all. Come again and yet come. Come speak to me of what fills your heart, what engages your mind, what resides in your soul. Come, let us worship together. Our opening hymn is 123, Spirit of Life.
Sing in my heart.
Our offering words are by the Reverend Heather Richardson. Unitarian Universalism is a grand vision of a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. The vision is embodied by a few large congregations, numerous mid-sized congregations, and many, many small congregations. No matter its size, every congregation depends on each of its members. Each one of you, by your commitment of time, energy, and resources, help make that grand vision real. Individually and together, we are Unitarian Universalists, building a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. Financial donations are welcome at the sanctuary entry by email or by PayPal. Our offertory hymn is number 1010, We Give Thanks.
Precious day, for all gathered here, and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for the old and young, for a time of wonder, joy and fun, for we give as we grow and live. Oh, we give thanks for the old and young.
My name is John, and I'm thankful for my beautiful wife, Becky, because she has taught me how to live a kind and respectful life as a parent to our children.
My name is Barbara, and I am thankful for the technology that allows me to continue to see my valued friends throughout the pandemic, attend church services, and to finally be able to be in the church choir.
My name is Sally, and I'm grateful for John, whose talent, enthusiasm, creativity, and technical savvy have kept us all singing together during lockdown. And I'm grateful to all those who worked so hard to develop a vaccine so that I can hold my grandchildren once again.
Oh, my name is Katie, and I'm grateful for all the loving and beloved people in my life who are with me in spirit during the long pandemic.
My name is Christine, and I am grateful every week for the opportunity to sing with our choir and make wonderful music. And I am grateful every day for the medical discoveries that changed my life 25 years ago.
Hi, my name is Jim Olin, and I'm thankful that my son John Olin invited me to sing in the Unitarian Church Choir, because it's brought me back to all the wonderful values and messages that the Unitarian Church gives us.
I'm thankful for my husband, Jeff. The songs he writes are so full of love and hope. That helped me get through the past year.
My name is Naomi, and I'm thankful for all the ways that we have found to connect with one another during this pandemic.
My name is Leah, and I'm grateful for the capacity we have for transforming our world through the practice of giving. We can give the gift of our time, an open heart, a second chance, a place of safety. We can give the benefit of the doubt, smiles and laughter, being listened to. We can give the gift of love.
Oh, we give thanks precious day. For all gathered here, and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for the old and young, for a time of wonder, joy and fun, for all we give as we grow and live. Oh, we give thanks for the old and young.
The dedication of our gifts. Gifts given in love and hope continue a cycle of love and hope. So may it be. We are delighted to have our own Lara Jackson with us this morning to deliver our message. Lara graduated from Breno University with a degree in psychology and journalism, followed by a career in childcare and regulatory inspection. 35 years ago, Lara moved to the Auto community where her father was born, where she lives off the grid in a 150-year-old log home. A Renaissance woman, she has taught enrichment classes, given presentations on wild edible plants, performed as a storyteller in a one-woman play about Mother Jones, written and illustrated 4 children's books, and more. She is a beloved member of our fellowship. And now Lara with her message, "We need love, our lives depend on it." Please join me in welcoming Lara.
Well, thank you for being here again. I appreciate it. And thank you, Lara, for the beautiful roses. My biggest gift of love today. So, I have one little thing that I have to tell you. I do have notes. I have studied this sermon a good little bit, this story, but I forgot my glasses. So I'm going to wing it, and if I make a mistake, just forgive me. No, that won't help me. I think I take it like a 3 or 3.5. And also I cannot see the clock. So when Mary gets tired of me talking, she can take her hook and drag me off stage. You know, I'm not old enough to remember doing that, but I've seen it. I'm doing that, but I've seen it in little funny things on TV. So this morning we're going to talk about love and why we need it, why we all need it. I'm not a scientist, but I've lived a long time. I have a lot of insight, and I think I can explain some things that you already know. First of all, we all know what is our strongest instinct, right up there with this instinct to survive. It's procreation. Procreation is what all of our love is meant for. It is meant to further the human race. All things have it. Plants have it even. You see a plant blooming in the fall when it's supposed to bloom in the spring, and it's probably trying to procreate. Something's wrong with it, and it's about to die. So that's one of our strongest, and to make it pleasurable is another way of making us want to procreate. The other thing, one of the other important things is romance. Romance keeps us together. Romance keeps both people who are procreating that beautiful young life to want to stay together. Then I think one of the strongest and most enduring aspects is nurturing. Once we've brought that little life into being, it takes 20 years or more. Sometimes it never happens that people mature. You know, we're longer than any other life, any other animal life. So we need that feeling of wanting and needing to help things, to touch, to life, to be near. And we have that. We have it, we need it when we bring up babies. We need it when our parents get old. We need it for our communities, our church, our families. So to me, that's the most enduring and longest lasting part of love that we have. All of us have experienced acts of love, and we just have to recognize that that's what they are. Somebody lets you into traffic slows down and lets you into a line of traffic. Somebody opens a door for you. Those are acts of love. We have to recognize those, and hopefully accept them. Say thank you and smile. There are stories, a lot I have about, to give you examples of the different kinds of love. One is, it's in the Bible. You can read it for yourself. And they took it and made a song out of it. I don't know if you have heard it, but I heard it at a wedding. It goes, some say love. No, that's the wrong one. It's whither thou goest, I will go. Whither thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, my love. Whither thou goest, I will go. Well, that's straight out of the Bible. That's Ruth and her mother-in-law, Naomi. Of all the jokes we have about mothers-in-law, Naomi and Ruth lived together with their husbands, but both of their husbands were killed in the war. So, as was the custom back then, Naomi decided to go back to her village where she was raised, and she called Naomi and her other daughter-in-law and told them they should do the same. They should go back to their villages. And one did. She went back to where she was raised. But Ruth said, no, I will not go. I will stay with you. I will go with you. I will live with you. Your people shall become my people. And she did. She made the long journey. She helped gather food. She got permission to winnow the wheat fields and gather grain. And she stayed with Naomi and took care of her and helped her. So there's lots of Bible stories. If you grew up on the Bible stories as I did, then you probably already knew that story. But let's go to a little bit more modern. There was this young man who fell in love with his teacher. He was in his late teens, I suppose, maybe 17, 18, fell in love with his teacher. His parents were not too pleased with that, of course, and so they sent him away to school. Well, when he graduated, when he got through with his education, he came back, and he found that teacher, and he married her. And now he is France's highest leader, and his wife, that teacher, is the first lady of France, Macron, Mr. and Mrs. Macron. That's a true story. And then I have my personal story. have the story of my grandmother. Granny came to live with us when in the early 40s, 1940s. And I was glad to have her. We were glad to have her. I had lived in a family without a mother in the house for a number of years. So I was very happy to have a mother symbol. Granny was, when she came to us, brought with her a little wardrobe. And in this wardrobe, she had most of her possessions. Granny had been a caretaker for a number of years. She had moved from house to house and was a caretaker for people who were disadvantaged or older. So when in that wardrobe that she brought, she had all of her possessions. She had on one side where you could hang clothes, all of her Sunday clothes, which weren't much, a hat, a purse, and down below, and on the other side there were drawers, which she had the rest of her clothing in. And down below, she had her most treasured possessions, other than her mementos, which she had in a box. She had two beautiful handmade quilts. One was had a little Dutch girl on each block with her little apron and her bonnet and her wooden shoes pictured in material that was appliqued onto the blocks. And the other one had butterflies cut out of beautiful material and appliqued onto each block. And then she had her table cover. Now, a table cover is not like a tablecloth. The tablecloth goes on the table. The table cover is just what it says. It's put on the table when food is cooked, and as it's put on there, it's covered so that insects won't get into it. And it's taken off at mealtime. Especially, she had her most precious possession was a tablecloth that she had made out of white cotton material, and she had appliqued little red roses scattered all over it, and she had added scalloped the edges and embroidered the edges, and it was beautiful. It was washed and starched and ironed, and it was only used, as was the quilts, when somebody special came, like her sister, Aunt Sally. When she came, those quilts were put on her bed, and she slept under those. And the tablecloth was used on the table to cover the food as it was cooked and set on the table. She also used it when we had dinner on the grounds at church picnic, in other words, and it was used to cover the food. She got lots of compliments. She was proud of it. So she came to live with us, but Granny was very stern. We were glad to have her, and she was a hard worker. She took care of the house. She did the cooking. She had her own little garden that she took care of. While the rest of us worked in the fields, she worked in her little garden. But Granny didn't give hugs, and Granny didn't say sweet words. So we knew that it would not please her if we bothered the stuff in her wardrobe. So we didn't bother her wardrobe. It was off limits. And so that's the way it was for a number of years. Then something happened that I'll never forget. I had been, my teachers, I was in going to school in a little country school that had 9 grades. At the ninth, when they were finished the 9th grade, they could go another 2 years to high school at the city school, but they had to ride the bus in. So most of the children didn't go anymore. By then they were about 15 or 16 years old, and most of them didn't go. But so each year we had a graduation, a ninth grade graduation. And my teachers knew of my propensity for memorizing. And so they brought me in from play one day and said, you know, we would like for you to be the entertainment for our graduation. We have a monologue, a story that we would like for you to tell. Do you think you could memorize it? So it was about 10 minutes long. It was 2 or 3 or 4 pages. And I said, of course I can. I was thrilled. It was my very first on the stage, all by myself, performance. Of course I was going to do it. So I took it, they gave me the script, and I couldn't wait to get home. I told Granny, I'm going to be on the stage all by myself. I'm going to be the entertainment for the graduation. And then it hit me. What was I going to wear? I had nothing to wear. We were farmers. When the cotton sold in the fall, we bought all of our winter food for what we had. Sugar and coffee were about the only things we bought. Maybe some Hadacol for Granny's arthritis. And so we had no money. I knew there was no point in saying, can we go to the store and buy me a dress? I had never had a dress that bought from the store. Granny made my dresses. She made me 5 little dresses, the slips and underpants, to wear one day, each day at school. I wore that to school. I came home and took it off. Until the next week, I had one for every day. But it was springtime. These dresses were made in the fall, and so I was already busting out of them. And I wanted something beautiful. I wanted to be able to stand on that stage and look like a princess. Granny said, well, we have this dress that Cousin Bonnie left here last year. I'll cut it down. She's bigger than you, and I'll cut it down to fit you. And I said, but Granny, it's got a great big rip in it. That's why she left it. She didn't want Aunt Clara to know that she had been climbing trees and ripped her dress. So she just left it. Oh, well, said Granny, don't worry about it. I can take care of that. Well, I didn't know. I didn't feel real good about it. But I didn't want to hurt Granny's feelings, and I didn't have any other choice. So I said, okay, Granny. And I just determined that what I would do is learn that part, and I would be so good on that stage, nobody would notice what I was wearing. Come out of that field, William, come out of that field and have your supper. You know your Uncle Tom don't allow no youngins stomping around in his watermelon patch. So I practiced and I practiced, and I felt like I could do it. So the night before the performance, Granny brought out, said, well, it's time to try on your dress. And, okay, I said, And I made up my mind I was going to smile and say, thank you, Granny, and, act like I liked it. So she said, close your eyes, and she went to the wardrobe, and I closed my eyes. She was keeping it in the wardrobe. That's why I hadn't seen her working on it. I didn't know she was working on it. So she said, open your eyes, and I did. And my mouth fell open. And I could hardly speak. It was beautiful. It was the most beautiful dress I'd ever seen. It was snow white with little embroidered roses sprinkled all over it. And it had scallops at the neck and on the sleeves and around the hem. And I said, but Granny, what about your table cover, and she said, oh, that old thing's given me lots of pleasure. It's time somebody else got a little pleasure from it. And turned, I got to go check on supper. But as she turned, she wiped her eye, and I could see one little tear on the back of her hand. And I knew at that moment, I felt the warmth, and I knew that I was loved. Granny didn't have sweet words, and she didn't give hugs, but I knew that she loved me. Thank you.
Lara, thank you so much for the gift of those stories. It's a real blessing to us. Our interlude hymn is number 346, Come Sing a Song With Me. That one always makes me cry a little. We'll now pause the recording for joys and concerns. Our closing words are from Lara.
Well, I know you're tired of hearing stories, but I have one more. This is my last word for you, and it is a true story. It happened to me right after the pandemic was settling down. I had my vaccination, and I went to town, and I thought, well, I can go into shop in some of my favorite thrift shops. So I was in the thrift shop, and I had wandered back to the back where I saw all the curtains and everything were hanging, and I spotted something that I brought, and I want to show you. This was hanging, and so I took it down. It's the exact same pattern as my granny's table cover. It's a different material, of course, but the same pattern, the same scallops, embroidered scallops, and these little flowers are embroidered. They're not painted on, they're embroidered. So I took it down. I was astounded, after all these years, I would see that. And I took it down and was looking at it. And I heard somebody say, "Let me buy that for you." And I looked up, and there was a lady standing there, just smiling from ear to ear, obviously as happy as she could be. And I said, "Why?" And she said, "I just came from the hospital, and I had all these tests, and they turned out wonderful. So I would like to share that, to pass along my happiness." So she took my hand, she reached out and took my hand and turned it over. And when she took her hand away, there was a $20 bill in my hand. I don't know what kind of look I had on my face that made her want to do this. Actually, I think she must have come into the store with that in mind, because she had it already folded up in her hand. And she put her hand in mine, and when she moved it, the $20 bill was there. And I said, "But why?" And she said, "I've had such good news, and I want you to take this and buy something special for yourself." And I just said, "Thank you." I didn't know what else to say. So I did. I took it, and I've been thinking of a way to pass it on. I'm not very good at walking up to strangers and offering them money. That's not something that I'm good at doing. But fortunately, I belong to a wonderful congregation that has a jar just for that, for celebrating wonderful things. This was a wonderful gift of love for me. So I want to celebrate it by putting it in this jar. And when the jar has enough money in it, we will find somebody who deserves it and who wants it, and we'll pass that along. So that's what I want. My last word for you is, when somebody does something for you, an act of love, whether it's letting you into a line of traffic on the road, whether it's picking up something you dropped, whether it's rushing to get in front of you to open the door for you. Look at it as a gift of love. Just smile and say thank you. And that's the way I feel now. I want us all to have that feeling of recognizing when someone is giving us a gift of love, and to appreciate it and pass it on. Thank you.
Our closing song is "The Rose" by Bette Midler.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless It's the dream, afraid of waking, that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying, that never learns to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong, just remember in the winter, far beneath the bitter snows, lies the seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose.
Another one that makes me cry. Oh my gosh. Extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish the flame of this chalice with the trust that its light has bonded our hearts and lives together, and with the assurance that we're always welcome to return for its relighting. Thank you for joining us today. Remember our UU World discussion today after coffee hour. Our service next Sunday will begin Women's History Month with Dr. Dana Fuel, providing a historical perspective on the story of Eve. Now let us join in spirit as we recite our covenant together. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and community is its goal. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. So may it be. Those on Zoom are welcome to continue the conversation. Those in the sanctuary are invited to coffee hour. The service has ended.